Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the B-Leaguers podcast, brought to you by the Koyo Store. Head to thekoyostore.com. Check out all of your officially licensed merchandise and paraphernalia and everything you could possibly want. Use the code B-Leaguers for 5% off your entire order. Helps us. It helps you. Get your shit. Welcome back. It's the NA shuffle that was promised 6 months ago, but finally came after the major. We are home from Raleigh, and we have a lot of roster moves to discuss. We have a lot of interesting, qualifications for Challenger League to discuss. We have DreamHack Montreal coming up in just a few days, in which I'll be casting with Redeemer, Corn Pop, and Parker. And then from there on, in about a month's time, you're going back to Poland for the Nationals. I'm going to Montreal for the entire month of September for the Canadian Nationals. And then we look onwards towards the Pro League Finals in Japan. So lots of stuff to talk about, lots of stuff to go over. We're finally back on a more consistent schedule, so hopefully this episode won't be 3 fucking hours. But you never know. We like to talk a lot.
Nut.
I fucking hate... What the fuck was that? What the fuck? What?
I got a nut button, dude.
Nut.
Why do you exist?
I don't know, dude. Why do we have a podcast together? Anyways, as Flynn discussed, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. DreamHack's coming up this weekend, actually. Flynn flies out pretty soon. As he said, I got to fly back to Poland October 5th. I'm not going to be there for the beginning of stage 3, but I'll be there later on due to some visa issues, but we'll get them figured out, and then I'll be back in Poland to hopefully give you guys some good USN content. But first things first, we're going to be talking about roster moves, and then we will go down to DreamHack and give our thoughts, opinions, the usual fucking run-of-the-mill shit that we do on the podcast. And yeah, I think that's about it.
That's about the
no
show
nut
right
button
there.
Included. You got to buy it.
All right. Fuck you, idiot. Fuck you.
It was good for the one meme. The one meme, it was solid.
All right. Let's turn our attention towards Liquipedia then and start talking about some roster moves, talking about DreamHack, the implications for this. Obviously, DreamHack Montreal, a very North American event, and a lot of the shuffle just happened to take place in North America. So, for anyone who's confused, Rogue is not listed on the DreamHack Montreal invited page. It's because they were not invited. They were the lone North American Pro League team not invited, but to the best of my knowledge, they will be attending as a BYOC team, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes. As for everyone else, every other North American Pro League team, including the lowly TSM and Susquehanna Sonics, will be in attendance, as well as FaZe, G2, Liquid, Father's Back, and Chaos Esports. So some interesting diversity from around the world in terms of teams. The groups were also announced, so our first few games have already been stated based on how the groups break down. We're just waiting on BYOC on early morning Friday or potentially late night Thursday to sort out who will be joining the rest of these 12 teams. We have 12 confirmed. We need 4 more, 1 per group. It'll be back at the Olympic Stadium, so I'm getting to go back to where it kind of all started for me, which is going to be a lot of fun. I think the biggest move that everyone is going to want to talk about is Canadian Troy going to Space Station Gaming. For almost his entire Siege Pro career, Troy has played on this roster. Before, he played on Orbit in Year 1 Season 2 with Kix, and honestly, a good majority of the rest of the roster that was on EG, or eventually came to EG in later days. But he's finally left, and it kind of feels like the end of an era in North America. It kind of feels like the end of an era in Siege in general. Troy, obviously the face, the branding, the captain, the IGL for Evil Geniuses, has decided to move on to greener pastures, to the hill that both of us are going to die on. And who would have thought it would take Troy joining them to really look like this could be a championship caliber team?
I completely agree with you. I think that it was a smart move by Troy. I don't think that he saw any light at the end of the tunnel with Evil Geniuses. So, as you said, he just chose to go somewhere else that he figured would be more beneficial for him, but not only for him, but for the team and also the organization. And I think SSG could definitely be that fit for him. The roster that is around him is extremely talented. We have the young buck, we have Fultz, and we have, I mean, two of the best players that North America has to offer in the likes of Fultz and Rampy, or excuse me, in the likes of Bosco and Rampy. So overall, I mean, with the also thinking they'd being on the roster, there's nothing to really knock on that roster. You go, oh, this is a weak link. We've seen all of these players, even with how little time Fultz has had on this roster, pop off in their own regard and really show what they can bring to the table. It's just the pacing, as you and I were commenting on before we started the podcast, has just been extremely slow comparative to the rest of NA and really the rest of high tier competitive Rainbow around the world. So I feel like Troy can bring something more to the roster with pacing, trying to get these guys on the same wavelength. I think that he brings quite a bit to this roster, especially with his IGL prowess that he's been so known for in the past.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of on the same page right now. It says right now in his Twitter bio that Troy will be IGLing for Space Station as they say their farewell to Chala for like the 15th time. This time it actually happens. So no more drop Laxing, pick up Laxing, drop Chala, pick up Chala. This time it's official. Chala says his farewell, and he'll have to find a new team. And considering roster lock is just around the corner, it'll be before DreamHack. I just don't know the day or the time. It's kind of tough for Chala. He's not currently on any Pro League team in terms of ESL page or on a roster. I haven't heard anything about him going anywhere within Pro League, so this might be a 3-month or so gap for Chala. I mean, he could still join a Challenger League team if he was so inclined, because there's no roster lock in Challenger League for some fuck-ass reason. So there's possibilities for him to jump right back in. You know, DG losing Mo. We still don't know who's going to be filling in Mo's place on DG. Rise has had roster issues with a revolving door of Dot Dash and Tracken and Factor, and apparently Factor's benched right now, so I don't fucking know what's going on with Rise. You never really know, although it certainly feels like Rise has enough support players these days. And I don't think they can drop any of the core members anymore. I think they have to keep everyone else in terms of retaining 3/5 from their stint in Pro League last season, but for right now, it seems like Chala is undecided and teamless for the foreseeable future. The same can also be said for a couple other players. This question came up a lot in the Q&A, and I want to get in front of it right away and say I'm not talking about bio. I'm not. There's enough rumors going out there, around out there that you can kind of fill in the blanks. I'm not fucking touching bio with a 10-foot pole.
Nope, make that 30. It's not getting touched. We will tell you this, though. TSM roster-wise, Crusher, gone. Bio, gone. Jarvis, in. Pojo, obviously, as everyone knows, in. Also, Gotcha, EG, dropped. Moves to TSM. That's it.
Yeah, that's TSM for you right now. Pojo is still a player. There was a lot of speculation that maybe Pojo would move back to coach and that they would pick up someone else.
Like Gotcha?
Maybe. I mean, he is currently the top-rated Pro League player in the entire world, as he likes to say. The other thing about TSM is that now means there are 2 Canadian players on their roster for their starting players, so that means that they'd have to pick up another person for them to participate in USN. Crazy was filling in for Pojo and Crusher while that was going on while they're participating in USN, so we'll have to see what happens there in terms of their USN participation. But TSM's an interesting one. Space Station right now look like they're on the verge of maybe starting something incredible in North America. They have proven time and time again that they are a real contender at majors, you know, and everyone, I don't know, it seems like we're the only ones on the fucking bandwagon when it comes to majors and their LAN performance. We said they were going to go deep at SI. We said they were going to go deep in Raleigh. And I mean, they make quarters at both. It wasn't the deepest run we've ever seen from a North American team, obviously. But I think it far surpassed a lot of expectations out there for them to go out in groups, especially such a strong group, especially in Raleigh. Not so much in at SI, but I mean, they've proven themselves. And I think with Troy on the roster, they're just getting better. So we'll see what happens here in Montreal, and maybe they can lock in an SI spot early, because North American Pro League right now is kind of wide open. It's especially with all the roster moves and stuff. EG's hanging around in the top 4. Space Station, Dark Zero, Reciprocity. These are all teams that could contend. LG, Luminosity right now, they seem like they've kind of plateaued. They came out the gates firing, and now they're kind of slowing down a little bit. So we'll see what happens when Pro League kicks off in a couple weeks from now. And then you've got TSM and Rogue near the bottom, who are probably mathematically already out of a land spot position for Japan. Kind of got to wait and see how the rest of it shakes out, but there's kind of no one safe in NA, and there's no one really locked in NA right now. So, I don't know. These roster moves could be a big make or break in terms of getting to Japan and locking in an SI spot. You got to remember, finishing top 2 in your region not only gets you to the Pro League Finals, but it gets you to the next major right now. So, a lot on the line there. And
which means G2 is going to be swinging for the fences, in case anyone wasn't aware.
Yeah, G2 also participating in DreamHack.
We should probably go down that list while we're talking about this, shouldn't we?
I said it earlier.
Oh, all right. Did you already mention all the teams for DreamHack?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Fantastic.
So G2 obviously probably the front runners to win DreamHack Montreal, especially considering they currently do not have an SI20 spot locked up. And the only other way besides online qualifiers to get one would be the Croatia OGA Pit Minor, or fucking online qualifiers, or like the Pro League finals. And let's be honest, G2 online right now in EU Pro League, considering the Giants and Empire have kind of run away with EU, that's not fucking happening. That is not fucking happening. So this is kind of their safety net right here. And yikes. I mean, it's kind of do or die here. They are in a pretty soft group, I will say. They have LG and Liquid in their group, both teams underperforming as of recent, and then they'll have a BYOC team in. To the best of my knowledge, Rogue is attending as a BYOC team, so, I don't know, maybe Rogue fills that in, and it kind of becomes a little more difficult in terms of Group A, but, I mean, G2 kind of seems like they have a free ride to at least quarterfinals right now.
I would agree.
In terms of recent performance for Liquid and LG. The other kind of, I think, interesting roster move that I think everyone knew is the worst kept secret in Siege, but it is pretty groundbreaking. It's the Susquehanna Sonics bringing Sleben and Gomfy over from Sisu. We finally have another trans-regional roster move, but this time it actually has some impact. So if you guys weren't aware, about a year ago, there was a trans-regional roster move. It was Maz and Fighter, 2 former Xbox pros in North America. They went to the SEA region. They played for, I forget what the fucking team was
I can
called.
see the logo, but I can't.
Yeah.
I'll grab it.
Okay.
Hold on.
So Maz and Fighter moved to the SEA region to compete. Gosu. There you go. So they went there. That was short-lived. They kind of sucked ass. The whole team sucked ass, and they didn't go anywhere. So that was kind of underwhelming. That was also APAC Pro League in a sub-region for a team that had never made a LAN before. Like, if they had transferred and went to, like, Fnatic, okay, cool, we're talking. Like, I'll be interested. This, while it is a last-place Pro League team right now, I mean, the Sonics, Sleben and Gomfy are fucking nuts. Like, I've personally gotten my shit rocked by them in ranked too many times to count. So I can say firsthand, they're fucking insane. Secondly, that's a lot of firepower. Like, Ghost and Avian weren't really getting it done in terms of the fragging department. For the Sonics,
more or less on an island.
Yeah, and I don't know, it adds a fucking scary duo that have already played on a team together, coming to a region that has, I would say, not as fleshed out competition compared to EU. I think it's been well established in the arguments had on Reddit and Twitter as of late. EU Pro League versus NA Pro League, or EU Challenger League against NA Pro League. I don't know. Sleben and Gomfy, that's an interesting test case. Obviously, they weren't using like Finnish as their comm language on Sisu because Gomfy is Belgian. So they were using English on Sisu. Sisu rebuilds as a full finish roster, but I mean, they look like they're fucking dead in the water. And the Sonics now have an opportunity to drag themselves out of a fucking hole, but they have a lot of competition to go up against in a short period of time to kind of get things together to save their spot. Because Pro League right now looks like they're almost already out of reach of even saving themselves. It would kind of take a monumental fall off from one team or another inside of NA, inside the Pro League season, to really save them. They have 4 points right now. They're in dead last, tied with TSM in terms of round differential, and exact same record, exact same points. I mean, Rogue have been pretty dog shit inside the online season, but they won Valencia. They looked pretty meh in Raleigh. God knows what happens there. They had a pretty meh Season 9 as well. You got LG, who seem to be plateauing a little bit and falling off. There's opportunities for the Sonics to take advantage, but it still kind of looks like they're going to be in last place and going to be playing against the number 1 seeded CL team at the end of the season. I don't really know how much Sleben and Gomphy are gonna fix that situation that they've already dug themselves into.
I think that the main issue with the Susquehanna Sonics is, I mean, honestly, for me, it's got to be Super, to be completely honest with you. Like the fact that that man dies so early on, and like 3 rounds out of every single game is not something that you can be doing. And I don't know if he's going to take a back seat, get a more of a flex role, or what's going to happen exactly with Sleben and Gomphy being on the field now. But I don't think Super is going to be in the exact same role. And I think that's exactly what needs to happen to actually elevate them towards anything besides bottom and possible relegation. Because if they can't fix being in a 4v5 literally every single fucking round, then what are you going to do? You really can't do anything. I mean, you're just going to continue to get punished on that when you're on that roam game, or if you're trying to get aggressive inside of the building at all. So I think what Sleben and Gomphy are going to bring to the field is, if Sleben and Gomphy can get their droning set in front of them well, which I believe that they can. I mean, Lauren's been running the same fucking role for God knows how long at this point. What, 3 years? I mean, if she's not good at droning, then she should just not be playing inside a fucking Pro League at this point. I mean, you've had 3 years to perfect what you do. So I'm going to assume that Lauren is good at that. So you already have one, and then you just have to bring somebody else into the fold that can possibly bring that. I'm going to assume that Super as well as Goddess are the two going to be on support. They're probably going to keep Neptunes on flex and put Sleben and Gomphy on entry. I think that that's how that would break down, unless Neptunes wants to keep that entry role. I don't know which one they would bump down to a flex role, which, I mean, really isn't a bump down, because they can get as aggressive with this as they want to, like we were talking about before with flexible rosters. But I really think that Super needs to take a back seat, and if he's going to IGL, then just do that. Play support, IGL, clear the portions of the map that you need, so on and so forth, and just get good drones in front of these guys instead of trying to take the initiative yourself.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think one of the biggest driving factors is that the firepower wasn't necessarily there for the Sonics beforehand with Avian and Ghost, so Super felt inclined to jump into it and just try and help in any way, and he was doing a little more damage than help, unfortunately. So, hey, hopefully that is a correction that the Sonics make heading in. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, outside of North America, I mean, Dark Zero stayed quiet. They didn't make any moves. There were some rumors swirling around, but nothing came out of it. Outside of that, EG picking up Mo. I mean, EG looks like a team without a leader right now. It really is curious I'm curious anyway, who's going to be leading that team in terms of IGL. They lose Troy. Geo was secondary IGL, so math. Geo's IGLing? I don't fucking know. Like, what is Amar gonna start IGLing?
Trying to get that figured out. We're like,
yeah, like I don't know what's gonna go on there with EG. It's certainly not gonna be Mo. He's never been in IGL before, and he's certainly not gonna walk into Pro League and lead one of the most storied rosters as a freshman. So this is also a bit of a proving ground for Mo. You know, he's got big shoes to fill. And I don't know, like I said, Troy was the face of the franchise. He even said it in his twit longer, and I don't think he was. A lot of people call him cocky for. That's not fucking. That's just the truth. That's just what it was, man. He was the face. He did all the interviews. He did all the promo. He did the press. He was the hype man. He was the IGL. He was the superstar at times, and the place of blame at times.
Yeah, I think the best way to put it is if they go up to literally anyone, because this is what they do if you guys didn't know for like interviews and stuff, because 90% of the time the person that's going to be doing interviews and stuff like that doesn't really know who they're going to be interviewing, because as of late we've had a lot of newer people inside of Siege, so they ask all of us and go, who's the best person to interview? And whenever they ask for EG, we go Canadian, literally every single time. He's the, as Flynn said, he's the front runner, he's the face man, he's the guy when you go evil geniuses, Canadian pops in your head.
Yeah, I don't know. Now I look at this roster, and I'm very excited to see how they do on Friday and Saturday and Sunday in Montreal, just to see what the new team looks like. It's hard not to think they're going to take a step back with this, though. At least in my eyes. I think this is a step back season for EG. I doubt they'll make Japan. I think right now Japan has got to be a three-way run between SSG, Dark Zero, and Rec. I don't think anyone else is really going to be challenging them for it. Rogue's in too deep of a hole. TSM's in way too deep of a hole. LG, like I've said a couple times now, they seem like they've got some issues, and the Sonics are in fucking Narnia. I don't really see this as EG's season. I don't see them making Japan with this change. I think it's going to take a while for Mo to really click with the rest of the roster. And like I said, a team without direction, we've seen this before. We've seen teams without direction who have star caliber talent that just don't succeed. And I mean, I hate to use a burning down house as an example, but Sisu is my example that comes to mind this season, man.
Yeah.
A team without an IGL filled with star talent that just could not compete. And that's what happens when you lack direction. That's what happens when you lack leadership in a room. And for EG, it's either going to be Chio stepping in and filling some big shoes and righting the ship, or it's going to be a season for EG to forget. And hopefully they can put everything back together in the offseason and come back strong for Season 11, and then somehow qualify for SI. I mean, we always count EG into the conversation for being top 2. They've been the number 1 seed or number 2 seed in North America for fucking ever. So we've never really had to worry about them missing a major. Well, now we kind of got to worry about EG missing a major. Going to be difficult. And I don't know. The online qualifiers for NA sure look interesting for SI already.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And I think DreamHack is out of the question for them. I don't see them raising that trophy. I don't see them locking in SI in Montreal. I think if I was going to pick one or two teams out of this list to lift that trophy and lock in their spot, it's probably going to be, for me, G2, SSG, or... yeah, G2 or SSG. There you go. Those are my answers. I don't see EG winning it.
I can't blame you at all. I would say that the only other roster that I could possibly throw in there would be maybe Reciprocity. They had a pretty good run at the last DreamHack. I feel like if they can possibly get things back to a center instead of falling apart when it matters most, they can get things figured out. So I would at least toss them into the pile. I mean, if you just want to, continue to compare apples to oranges, you can always toss TSM in there as well. I think they look really good at DreamHack, and they looked really good at the major as well. Again, they just didn't have this roster to start. And secondly, it just seemed like when it got to the main stage, there was still a little bit of those CCS shakes, if you will.
Wow. What a topical reference. Yeah, I don't know.
It's not an ointment, Flynn. It's not an ointment, all right? Jesus.
Topical?
Yeah, topical ointment.
Yeah.
Means it go, yeah,
or a topical
means it goes
reference. On. Okay, you're a dumbass.
I was making a dumb joke. Fuck you.
You're dumb.
Dick.
I fucking hate you.
Yeah, well, you don't have a dad, so fuck you.
Goddamn right I don't. Thank the fucking Lord. Yeah, I mean, heading into DreamHack, I'm worried with the shakeup. I'm worried, I'm intrigued, I'm excited, I'm scared. I got a lot of emotions running around DreamHack. And I don't know really who's going to be walking away with this one. I would say, however, there are some front runners. Like, I really want to see what TSM can do, but on such short notice, I'm worried again. Like, Jarvis obviously was playing with leftovers in the CL quals. That didn't pan out to work, unfortunately, for them. Half their squad is already on different teams already, though, so, I mean, no big shock there. Yeah, I'm hopeful for TSM. I still think they're going to do well. I just don't know if they're going to be able to topple someone like an SSG, like a G2, like a FaZe, you know, immediately with the roster change. I think it's going to take a little bit of time again for them to kind of reset. A team that I think a lot of people are overlooking, though, is Reciprocity. The majority of this team won DreamHack Montreal last year under Cloud9. They are actually everyone except for Skies won this, and Hopes is their coach. Won DreamHack Montreal under Cloud9 last year, and they kind of came completely off the board. And we haven't seen Rec at a LAN since SI. This is going to be 9 months since their last LAN event.
No, we saw them at DreamHack.
No, they weren't at Valencia.
Hold on.
Rec was not in Valencia, were they?
I could have sworn to God they were. Yeah, DreamHack Valencia. They lost to Rogue.
They were? Oh my god.
Yes.
I feel bad. I don't even remember them being there. And I worked the event.
Hey, we both do this shit. There's a lot of teams in the world, Flynn. It's fine.
So I completely do not remember
it
them
was
being
Chaos, Cloud9, Father's Back, FaZe
I'm
Clan,
reading it right now. I can see it.
All right.
Yeah, okay. Never mind. Well, I mean, if they were that fucking forgettable, then they gotta work on some shit, right?
Now you sound like me when I forget shit. We should probably be doing better, and I'd remember.
Yeah,
God
exactly. I mean, I don't know. I honestly thought they hadn't played a LAN since SI. That's fucking embarrassing. Because they didn't play Vegas, right?
I'm not the only dumbass on the podcast.
They didn't play Allied? I didn't even pay attention to Allied, so...
Did they play Allied? No, they just came to the event and we hung out.
There we go. I knew they didn't do something. Fuck me.
No, they didn't play Allied. They were at the event. They literally had like a room there that they were watching the games out of, and others walked in. I was like, oh, what's up, boys? Like...
All right. I'm fucking not mentally coherent, apparently. The coffee didn't help. Anyway, Rec, I think... Hey, they've been the underdog before, and I think for a long time there, they were the underdog as Cloud9. They got picked up as Rec and picked up Skies, and all of a sudden they started gunning, and they had a run to the semis at SI, and everyone kind of pegged them to be the top dog again, and they kind of failed to meet those expectations. But now I think Rec have kind of slid down into like this underdog role again. I think they're kind of back in a spot where they are forgettable. They are just kind of background noise compared to all the other teams that have made changes and made a lot of noise, especially because they weren't in Raleigh. So, you know, our minds have focused on other teams. So maybe this is another Cinderella run for Rec. Outside of like, I don't know, other regional teams, I don't think Liquid's making it very far. They've just looked not fantastic online in Pro League. They honestly haven't looked the same since like Atlantic City, but that's a whole other day of conversation. FaZe, I don't know, man. I keep putting so much goddamn faith in this team, and they keep letting me down. And I don't know. It feels like FaZe have just gotten complacent. It feels like they really have hit a limit, and they're not getting past it in terms of international play. They're always going to be on top in LATAM. Like, they're going to be in that top tier conversation. And then Father's Back. I'm not even going to touch that one. And then Chaos. I mean, Chaos looked pretty good in Valencia. Chaos looked pretty good in Vegas. Chaos looked really good online in the second half of Season 9 of Pro League. Like, I don't know. Chaos is kind of a maybe for me. But like I said earlier, I think G2 and SSG are your front runners to be in the finals. I don't really see how that's going to change based on the roster moves. Unless someone comes out of BYOC like Rogue or something and kind of tears it up. I don't think there's really going to be too much of an upset here. But I said that heading into DreamHack last year, and I was very wrong. So, I'm open to being wrong here. I'm very open to being wrong.
Yeah, it's just definitely going to be interesting to see. But I will say this, at least for G2, they still got a pretty fresh wound coming away from that best of 5 they'd never lost before. against Team Empire. So I'm going to say, once again, these guys are going to be swinging for the fences, and you're probably going to see Uno on a revenge tour. I don't think that he's going to come out lackluster at all. I think he's going to come out pretty hot. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But I would definitely put SSG as the second coming into this. I think that their pacing is going to be a lot different, which is going to throw a lot of people off because, as you and I were talking about before, and I believe that we said during the podcast already, SSG's pacing prior to Canadian being on the roster was extremely slow. Canadian has the ability to speed things up. We've seen him do it quite a few times with the Evil Geniuses. Granted, EG still had it some times where they were very slow comparative to other top tier talent in their field. So this is either going to go one of two ways. Number one being that SSG just comes out firing on all cylinders, and we've never seen an SSG roster play so well, or they come out very flat. I'm going to go for the latter, though. So we'll see what happens between those two teams, but I don't really see anybody else in the field that I'm really worried about. If Dark Zero finally fucking wakes up and decides that they want to win something,
yeah,
maybe.
I don't know. They choke on LAN a lot. They just don't look the same on LAN like they do online, man. They just look like they get in their own heads.
They play different, though.
Yeah,
they play so different. It's weird. It's very, very weird. It is. But there is one thing we could talk about before we fall on swing into other things.
Okay.
It's time for Flynn's Tinder Safari, chat.
Oh, Flynn's Tinder Safari. I don't really have that many updates. I actually...
I have one.
Yeah, I know you do, you little fuck ass. You sent it to me. No, did you put it in the group? Did you put it in casting couch? I think you put it in casting couch.
I put it in casting couch, but I also have another one as well. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got two.
By
the way, guys, in case you guys were wondering, yes, I am indeed single now. Esther and I ended up splitting. So, yes, that happened. Anyway,
now that you've come out and said it, that is the thing that Sam was going through last week. So I know there were a lot of people commenting and, I don't know, DMing me and being like, hey, you kind of carried the podcast last week for Sam. And I was like, yeah, he had his reasons. Don't get on his ass about it. It's okay. So, yeah, that's kind of what he was going through.
Everyone was like, podcast was so good, man. I was like, I didn't say shit.
I got a lot of messages being like, wow, Sam didn't say a whole lot, and he didn't really seem like he was paying attention. I'm like, he had a right to not really pay attention. So here's the timeline. They break up at like 7 p.m. I text him at 9 being like, we were supposed to do it tonight, but like, if you want to take a day or two, you're good. And he's like, nah, fuck it, let's full send it. And I'm like, are you sure? I'm sure everyone would be very understanding if you wanted to take some time. He's like, no, fuck you, we're doing it. And I'm like, all right. And I got like 45 minutes out of Focus Stoax, and then after that it was just drunk Stoax off in his own little world for the next 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I mean, that's how she goes. Now you're back. You're a little more attentive. You're a little more energetic. You're good now. Yeah.
Hey, I caught the wreck thing, bitch. All right?
There you go. You're more attentive than I am. That's a fucking miracle.
I literally beat Flynn in his own fucking game for once. Usually I'm the one that's like, they weren't there. Flynn's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yes, they were.
Yeah. Usually I'm the one being human Liquipedia, but I got
wrong
today.
Dude. Let's go.
Got it, baby. Got it.
Anyways, so do you want to do yours? I get to join in on Flynn's Tinder. It's the B Leaguers Tinder Safari.
Yeah, it's the boys. We're both single. I mean, my only update is I've actually like been talking to a girl for like a week, and we're trying to set up a date. So
that's so fucking cute, dude.
Apparently she's actually like a fan of Siege. She plays Siege.
Did you have her name your Johnson? Huh?
I don't really know what you said, but I'm gonna go back and listen to it and call you a fuck ass preemptively.
I said, did you have her name your Johnson?
Oh no, fuck you. I haven't even met yet. Relax. Anyway, she seems cool. Trying to set up a date, but I fly to Montreal for a month in 3 days, 2 days now. So like, yeah, and she works a lot. So anyway, that's my update on the Flynn's Tinder Safari. Although someone did ask for my statistics on Tinder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, someone on the subreddit literally made a whole post just saying they wanted to hear my statistics. So, my statistics on Tinder.
You have to also give your amount of time, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is my second Tinder account that I've made. I had one back in high school, but I deleted it when I met my then high school girlfriend that I dated for a couple years, so I just made a new one. I think I made this account in 2017. Yeah, near the end of 2017. So anyway, there are 1,661 matches. That's across like 6 countries and like 10 different cities, but yeah. 1,661 matches. Messages, there's no number, but I can confidently say the number of conversations is below 50? Maybe below 40? Maybe there's about 40 conversations. Yeah. So those are my statistics.
All right. Well, I guess yeah. All right. So I made this Tinder account when I broke up with my girlfriend. So there's that.
So it's a week old.
Yeah, so it's a week old. I have I unmatch people because I can't stand the fucking like massive line up top. But I'm at roughly like 110 to 120. And then my feed is literally just fucking garbage because of all like the fucking repeated messages that have happened. Blah 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 blah. Because I leave the message list. I just don't leave the new matches because it just gets annoying. Because as you know, that list gets very fucking long.
Yep.
So that. But here's my update of things that have happened that are 2 very interesting ones. Number 1, I will read you guys a screenshot. And again, before I say this, we're going to say this for one last time, and I'm never mentioning it again because it always ruins the fucking joke. Okay? Flynn fucking hates his father because he was a piece of shit drug addict that we make fun of because his dad was a piece of shit drug addict. So therefore, we pick on Flynn's dad being dead, and Flynn finds it fucking hilarious.
It's hilarious.
So don't get butthurt. If you're watching my stream, yes, I will say that guy is as dead as Flynn's dad. I will fucking say it because the shit is funny. Okay? Just leave it. Everything is fine. We promise you. If he ever says it's not okay, then no one will say a fucking word. All right? There we go.
I'll never say that.
No, he won't. So, anyways, this woman's name is Zelly. And in her bio, just to give you guys some background here, she said, I enjoy making jokes about killing myself too much. And I was like, oh, okay. And so my opening message was, I too make terrible jokes about killing myself constantly. And she goes, you do you now? And I said, the only thing more dead than my will to live is Flynn's dad.
It's pretty solid.
Yep.
Pretty
So
fucking solid.
There's that one. And then next, I got asked, and this was absolutely true, was not joking, by the way, I confirmed. I got asked, how much money would it take them to pay me to give them a child?
No. That's the no. That's
and
number.
I was like, you're kidding, right? Like with the laughing emoji. She's like, no, actually, how much would it cost?
No.
And she was like, I'm surprised that you've never gotten asked that before. So I said $10,000.
That's it?
10 grand for a nut, dude?
Dude, I'm talking like a mil.
Dude, you're talking a milli for a nut?
I'm talking a mil to fucking deal with the fact that I have a kid. That's probably not even. No, I'm talking like 10 mil.
Nah, dude. Oh, come on. 10 grand for a nut, dude. You don't gotta worry about that. What if she's got her person, dude, and they just can't have kids? She's like, yo, just one nut, 10 grand. Easy, dude. That's an easy 10 grand, dude.
Oh, okay. I thought I was still gonna have to be partially responsible for the child.
If I was gonna be responsible for the child, you better be paying
10 mil.
You better be at least 1 mil. You know how much a fucking child costs?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying 10 grand to be your fucking sugar daddy.
So it's literally just for my semen.
Yeah, I'm saying if you want a quantity of a singular nut, $10,000. That's what I'm saying.
I'd probably try and push it to 20, but I'd settle for 10.
I'd take
If
10,
it
right?
really came down to it, I'd probably settle for 10, but I'd try and cash out on that motherfucker. Because that's not
in increments.
Because there aren't bulk quantity offers for that. I can't just be jacking off into jars every single day making fucking 10 grand a jar. These are once in a very long time opportunity. So I'm really trying to cash out on that motherfucker. That's one long, very satisfying jerk off session that really needs to pay off well. I'm talking a good payoff.
I'm going to Walmart, I'm buying candles type shit.
Listen, if I have to put any money into it, then we got issues. Like, all right.
Oh
So there's
God.
the Tinder
I
Safari.
wouldn't even beat off to anything, dude. I just think of $10,000.
I mean, I'd probably ejaculate to the thought of $10,000 in my
Right,
hand.
dude?
Yeah.
Right?
All I need is money, man. All I need is
Are we-
money.
Are we terrible people?
Oh, we're terrible fucking people. Are you kidding me? We're horrible.
The B-Linker's subconscious is just not a good place to be.
No, it's really not. There's a lot of abuse and
shit.
shit going on in here.
All right, so we basically covered all of DreamHack. We covered roster moves. Did we cover all the roster moves?
Yeah, we covered literally all of them. I don't think there's a roster move we haven't covered, at least in North America.
We covered Mo, we covered Canadian, Chala off, Crusher gone. Gotcha's coaching TSM now. Peter's gone from Evil Geniuses in case anybody cares about that.
I don't have to say it like that. Shit.
Oh no, Peter's not homie. He like I'm just saying like
Yeah.
if they care about like upper management and shit like that. No, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Awesome. Cool. Big Dickin.
Yep, we got it all. And like I said, we're not touching Bio, but he's no longer on TSM. There's your update on that one.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Don't ask.
I also covered a good portion of looking forward to next season of Pro League, at least in NA. We can do a little wrap up on like.
Oh wait, we gotta do this first of all.
What?
Congratulations on making CEO, you piece of shit.
Oh yeah, if no one heard, even though there's like 95 fucking threads about it every fucking day on the subreddit, I made Challenger League with Shrug. So the roster is myself, Not Loading, Mex, Cloudstruck, and Wrath, and we have qualified for CL. We are looking for an organization, so if you have, tens of thousands of dollars you just want to give me for no reason, hit my DMs. Yeah, so I guess actually if anyone cares about NACL and the teams that are in there, it is Rise and DG are staying from last season. And then the list goes Two-Face, the Embers, us, the Butt Cheek Bandits, fucking Suzaku and Cryo's team. Who the fuck made it last week? Oh, PG and Akatsuki. So Akatsuki is fucking Yardy's team. I actually got a lot of questions today in my stream about where my former teammates went. Talon and Rainbow. Rainbow went to DG. Talon went to Akatsuki. So that's where those guys went. That's why we have a different roster now. But yeah, those are the 8 teams in NACL. I'm not trying to jinx anything by commenting on the skill level in NACL, but this qualifier format,
They're all shit.
this qualifier
They're all
format
bad.
is fucking awful. So I don't know.
Ah!
Try your own conclusions, I guess. Yeah.
In Flip subconscious, they're all shit. They're all. Did you hear me screaming? That's Flynn. That wasn't me. That was just his fucking subconscious, just fucking.
Hey
Like,
man,
how's it?
I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to fucking frag some idiots.
Look, somebody
Really
asked
gun.
me inside of my. Somebody asked me while I was streaming. They were like, would you come back to CL to cast one game? Just one game. And I was like, what game would it be? And they were like, Shrug against literally anyone that turns out to be good. And I was like, abso-fucking-lutely.
There you
Like,
go. One game.
one fucking game, dude.
Just to
That'd
watch
be
me
hilarious.
pile drive some motherfuckers. Exactly. Yeah, I'm down.
By the way,
I'd
dude, I'm
enjoy
actually
that.
so pissed that the SMG 11 recoil is getting changed.
It's just on TTS though. That's like
Yeah, I know.
I
But
don't know.
it's,
That
you already
always
know it's gonna go
happens.
live. You
That
already know
always
it's gonna go
happens on
live.
TS, man. Until it goes live, I don't give a fuck.
I'm so good with the current SMG 11, dude. Like I was fucking slamming people with smoke yesterday. I felt so good.
So yeah, that's NACL in a nutshell. I will be competing. And for the love of fucking G, if I get this question one more goddamn time in my life, playing does not interfere with casting. I have gotten that question so goddamn many times. I have gotten that fucking, I don't know, someone has just made the fucking assumption at some goddamn point in time that I can't cast and play at the same time. I don't have a long-standing contract. The only company I have a long-term contract with is Waveform. Waveform has zero association with ESL, and that's for the Canadian Nationals. Shut up! You don't know my contract situation. I know my contract situation. I would not have qualified for Challenger League if I couldn't fucking play in Challenger League and still work. God damn it. If I get that goddamn question one more time, I'm going to blow my fucking brains out. Fucking Jesus.
Oh my god.
Nah, dude, I definitely just threw away my entire career to play one season of fucking Challenger League. Definitely, dude. Definitely. That's exactly what I did. Shut the fuck up.
So you didn't do that? You mean I have to see you at events still?
Oh my god.
You mean we have to go to fucking foreign lands and get drunk still, Flynn?
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
me,
It sounds
dude.
like a fucking
Damn it.
terrible time. Terrible
Fuck.
time.
Oh my god. I'm surprised that, we
Dude,
still
the
wanna
number
do these
of
jobs.
fucking
Crazy.
tweets I got, DMs I got, messages on Reddit I
I
got.
got asked that shit in my stream. They're like, is Flynn still gonna be a caster since he's playing? I'm like,
Yeah. It's
why
like,
wouldn't he be? Hello?
will Flynn be casting less? What am I casting? The Canadian Nationals for 4 hours a fucking week on a Saturday. Or fucking DreamHack Montreal, which is 3 fucking days. What else do I have lined up, man? What am I casting less? What am I losing by doing this? Seriously, tell me what I'm apparently losing by playing. Please inform me, because I don't have any other offers. I don't have offers to cast anything else in the entire fucking world right now. Those are my contracts. That's what I've been offered. I haven't lost a single fucking job. What did I lose? Tell me what I fucking lost, please. Inform me what I'm losing. I'm not stopping casting. I'm not even slowing down. The difference between playing Challenger League or jacking off on my couch every night. There's no difference. I'm still casting the same amount of time, the same amount of gigs. There's literally no change. Fuck. It's been like 2 goddamn months of this shit. And no matter how long I scream, no matter how loud I get, no matter how many times I tweet it, no how many times I put it on Reddit, or fucking Facebook, or goddamn MySpace, no one seems to get the message. So I'm screaming now, so you get the fucking message. I'm not going anywhere. We'll do it live! Alright, so you had a mental breakdown last episode, I have a mental breakdown this week, but the thing is, I'm not deleting my mental breakdown. I like my mental breakdown, so fuck all you idiots.
Your mental breakdown was also a little bit nicer than mine was.
Yeah, probably.
You didn't call everyone fucking garbage men. So
I didn't. You are right about that. I didn't.
that was mine definitely could not be in the it was
No,
not good.
I'm glad we deleted that.
Literally right when I got done, Flynn was like, you know what, that in there, I said, no, I don't. Oh, okay.
All right, we've talked about
Power
everything
of
that
the
there is to
cut,
talk about in terms of news. Let's go to Q&A.
Q&A! Yeah!
Shut the fuck up, you goddamn reject.
Hey, you just got to yell. I felt out. All right.
All right, there are 28 questions. What are we at? We're at an hour? No, we're at 48 minutes. That was a short little recap of news. We could go a little bit here for Q&A, but I feel like I don't want to do a 3-hour show again, so yeah. We'll sort it out.
I'm just gonna. Are you choosing questions this week? Because I'm down.
Yeah. I'll just choose the questions. We'll go from there. Okay, already answered that one. It was about Slebin and Gomfy. Also, why no roster change for Rogue? Excellent question, but I mean, sometimes the answer isn't making a change. Anything to add to that, or can we just fucking move on?
They already have the tools that they need. The only person that I feel like needs to pick up their play is Easily. We've seen plenty of supports do a hell of a lot better in the exact same situations. I feel like if we see Easily pick things up, you're going to see a better play from Rogue overall.
All right. Congratulations, Flynn, on qualifying for CL. When are you getting dropped for a good player? Tomorrow. What teams do you think have benefited the most from the roster changes? Probably TSM and SSG. I think that's fair to say.
Yep.
All already answered that last week. Based on the operator pick in bans from Raleigh, do you think that any operators need to be rebalanced? For example, Echo was banned 68% of the time. Should he be nerfed? I'm going to hit that with a hot yes button. Echo's a little too strong right now. Maestro is also pretty fucking strong. I'd like to see the Alda tweaked, but apparently gun changes just don't exist anymore. When was the time we had a fucking gun tweak? Like, they just aren't rebalancing weapons anymore. They're like, these are the weapons, fucking deal with it or die in a hole. And we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like, how long have we been standing on the top of a fucking hill just screaming at the top of our lungs that the MPX is a fucking marshmallow shooting piece of shit?
Or that the F2 is a world dominator, or that the Alda's fucking stupid and has way too many. Like, we've been, like, everyone's been screaming it 5 ever, and yet we just, like, there hasn't been a gun balance in fucking a billion years in terms of like, actual damage. The only thing it changes is recoil.
Dude, yeah, and like the MPX even, like, it has more recoil than like all of the weapons that are around it, and it does less damage. Like, granted, it's not very much. There's not that much recoil inside of Siege. The guns with the most recoil are the SMG-11 and the SMG-12. Like, that's it. Everything else is super easy. I mean, you could throw Buck C8 and, you know, into the pile as well, but like once you play him for like a day, fucking easy. Like, it's literally just like a minor pull of the wrist and it's handled. It's not a big deal. So, I mean, they just need to go back through and, I don't know, fucking listen. Like, Valkyrie's one of my favorite ops in the game. She always has been, but I fucking hate the MPX because it's a marshmallow shooting piece of shit that has never been fucking good. You have to hit somebody in the head, otherwise you're going to lose your gunfight. It's just fucking annoying. So they either need to up the damage or up the fire rate. That's it. Just fucking dog shit. Like the MPX, the MPX and the MP7 or MP7, the MP5 are extremely comparable, except two differences. One, don't have ACOG. One of them doesn't have an ACOG, and they have different damage margins. And the MP fucking Jesus Christ, so many MPs. MP5 has a higher damage margin than the MPX does. Like, fuck, dude.
Anyway, moving on. Number 1 from Baba375. Flynn, are you planning on attending any minors in the near future, in parentheses, the next 3 months, as a player? No, I don't have an org, so we don't have any money, and lands cost money to go to, so no. Number 2, do you think that the NIP CSGO controversy had anything to do with them not being the pilot program version 2? Possibly. I mean, they may have been banking on the pilot program money. I feel like that's really poor asset management, though. Like, if your whole future of being able to sustain an organization and sustain a payroll of employees is based on you getting into a program that another company has sole discretion, like, you're literally placing the entire future of your organization and company in the hands of another company that doesn't owe you shit. So, if that was the case, that's really fucking stupid. But, I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I don't see how any smart business person would have ever said, yeah, let's put all of our faith in Ubisoft. That'll go well.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, do you know why Bio left TSM? Yes, not talking about it. All right, on to Smoothie. Hey, Flynn, congrats on making CL while playing like a bot. Fuck you. My question, how difficult is it to play against NACL prospects, and how much do you enjoy it? I mean, it's normal. I don't know. I love playing. I love competing. I love being able to play. And I'm going to really fucking enjoy playing in CL this season.
Must have been fucking nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're the one who put your fucking pen to the paper and signed the contract, idiot. So.
Hey, motherfucker, where else was I going to go, bitch? All right.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's not like it's overwhelmingly challenging. Like, I can hang in CL. I'm going to prove that I can hang in CL. I hung with everyone throughout the fucking quals. Like, I do my goddamn job, so I don't know. Do you think that EGs, this is from Disruptive Noise, do you think that EG will benefit from the roster changes? I see this as an opportunity to grow and change their identity up. I really think this could completely reinvent them. I'm gonna go with this is gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a step back off the gate, but I don't know, maybe given time. I don't see the future, man. I don't. Like, Mo's a damn good player. Troy was, I don't know, reportedly causing issue. I don't know how to read that, man. But my big thing is direction. Someone's got to step up in the room and be a leader and be an IGL. Like, that's my thing. If they had brought in another IGL, then I probably would have been more on board with this being a good change immediately. This looks like it's going to be a long-term change, and there might be another one coming down the pipeline.
Absolutely.
From Brink. Hello all, glad to hear this is on a somewhat regular schedule again. Also, congrats to CL for making, or congrats to Flynn to making CL, and to Stoax on the Stream Studio start. That's a lot of S's.
All the S's.
What move do you classify as the biggest move of the NA Shuffle? Probably Troy, even though Slebin and Gomfi is also pretty huge. Yeah, I think for Troy, moving teams, that has probably one of the most monumental impacts in terms of history. But Slebin and Gomfi coming over has the most monumental impact on the future of Siege, if that makes any sense. Do these moves affect your predictions for who will play well at DreamHack? Obviously, yes, we talked about it. When does CL start so I can watch Flynn be a bot? No one knows. Literally no one knows. I'm going off of the schedule last year, which was like the last week of September / first week of October for Season 8 when it started. 6 months. I don't know. That's probably when it'll start again, but literally there's no schedule. We have no idea. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to it.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a different question that we haven't already talked about either last week or I don't want to talk about. Okay, still struggling here. We talked about a lot of this shit last week, guys. You're getting repetitive with the questions. Okay, again. Hey, Flynn, congratulations on making CL. Now you get to cast less. Hooray. I don't cast less. Here are my questions. Number 1, how are you going to manage casting and playing at the same time now? The same way I would have beforehand. Number 2, as a support player, what is your job on the team and your advice to new support players? Your role as a support player is...
a good one.
Yeah. Your roles, at least the role on my team, is I try and stop the idiots from being idiots. I give them as much information as I can through droning. So this is attack. I'll just go over attack and then defense. So attack, I'm hard breach, I'm plant bitch, and I'm droning. So essentially, I will... it depends, because there's still random drone spawns, which, holy Jesus, fuck if they ever give us the control to spawn our drone in one spot.
I know, right?
Oh my god. Anyway... For the most part, I'll be calling where the site is. Chase is our IGL, so he'll call the push. I don't know. But basically, my job is to drone in my secondary entry, which is Wrath right now. It was Nugs and then Rainbow before that. But anyway, I'm droning in my secondary IGL to grab space, or I'm droning in a separate part of the push. Basically, Chase is droning the primary side of the push. I'm droning the secondary part of the push. To clear real estate across the map, whether it's a roam clear or just gaining space to execute onto site, basically. And then from there, I'm moving up. I'm breaching whatever I need to breach, depending on map. And then from there, I'm droning site. I'm calling out anchors. We're applying pressure from multiple axes, and then go in for a site execute with hopefully enough time in the bank that you can bait out utility and then get plant down. And then I play the post plant covering diffuser. That's kind of my job on attack. On defense is smoke or anything with an SMG-11, so smoke or mute. My job is to repel the push into site, and on some maps I have like a little bit of an extended roam, but for the most part I'm on site, and I'm on cams for the first half of the round calling for roamers or calling for anyone really. And then my job is to win my gunfights on site, make sure nobody comes in and takes away my map control, which is the objective. Make sure I'm pacing my smokes properly or nitro cell properly, and just, I don't know, don't die, forehead. That's my job. That's kind of what your job is as a support.
I'm really happy that we started that whole forehead trend, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Which roster move were you most surprised by in NA? Probably the 2 I just mentioned, Troy to SSG and Slebin and Gomfi to the Sonics.
Yep.
What's the goal for you in CL this year as a team? Make Pro League, like any other team. But seriously, it's gonna suck to not hear you cast as much anymore. I'm literally casting the same map. Jesus fuck. Okay. Okay, from Superminum 6-parter. Christ. Number 1, do you think Orgless going back to an all-German lineup will help them? Probably communication-wise, but I don't know a whole lot about the players that have joined. I haven't really seen a lot from them before. To the best of my knowledge, this is their first season in Challenger League or Pro League, like in any sense. So I don't know. I don't know how that's really going to go. Obviously, everyone being on the same page and being able to have fluent comms will help. I don't know how they're going to stack up against a team like Fours or Secret or BDS or Trust. Like, they seem like they're kind of not Pro League talent, and they seem like they might already have been outpaced in Challenger League in terms of the other teams that have fallen down or formed in the time that they've been rebuilding. Number 2, how'd you find the replacements for Talon and Rainbow when they left? So Rainbow left first. Rainbow got the offer from DG after they dropped Drip, and we kind of just didn't really panic too much because it was only one roster move. So we were trying out different people that we knew from either previous teams or that had expressed interest in the past in joining, but couldn't because we filled our roster the way we did when we started. So we went through like 3 or 4 different tryouts, and then during those tryouts, Talon got the offer to go and join Kotsky, Yardy's team, back then known as the Power Rangers. So that kind of hit us pretty hard, considering that was right before the second qual. And we couldn't play the second qual anyway because a lot of us were out of town or doing shit during the second qual. So that kind of left us with a lot of time to, I don't know, see who broke up basically after the second qual and kind of just look from the outside in and see what teams kind of exploded, see what kind of teams were left standing, see who maybe we could approach and see if they wanted to come and join us instead. And it turned out that there was a team that is actually getting a lot of ridicule on Twitter right now. It's really funny. So basically, last night, Cookies was like, yo, imagine if I was on a stable team. And the backstory behind that is Cookies left the team beforehand. Like, he just jumped ship. So that team imploded, and we picked up 2 players from that team when they imploded because Cookies left. So we picked up Wrath and Mex from them. And Mex obviously had played on Scylla's Gorillas with Chase last season in Challenger League, so there was a connection there. For the third qual, we also had Nugs, but Nugs came to us after the third qual when we choked against PG and Akatsuki, and he he kind of like took blame for a lot of the shit that went down, especially against PG, and I don't think it was really all on him, but he said, you know, I'm probably not really cut out for this. I think you guys should go looking for someone else to replace me, and that was on fucking Tuesday. So we had 2 days. We had 48 hours to find another person. So Mex, obviously previously teaming with Wrath, knew him, and we brought Wrath in for a couple days of scrims, and we went, yeah, okay, you're the guy, Wrath, and we went into the quals and went 7-0.
You're my boy, Blue.
I mean, ain't any of this ever fucking easy, but hey, we survived the poaching, and we persevered.
Sounds like NA.
All 8 of us are now in Challenger League, though, so, I mean, hey, works out. How well will Rise Nation perform in CL? That's an excellent question. That depends on if they'll ever fucking sort out their roster. I don't know. They've just actually had a fucking revolving door of people coming in and out over and over again. They can't lock anyone down.
Who'd they fill for tracking?
Factor.
Oh, yeah. No,
Factor and Dot Dash came in at the same time.
Yeah.
Tracking. That's an excellent question. I don't even know if that's public yet.
I don't even know if they have someone. Like, I can't even think of anything that's like Monka TOS, to be completely honest.
We haven't scrimmed them, so I have no idea who they're running with right now or who they're trying out. I'm sure.
Checking transfers right now.
There's nothing public. I guess we'll find out even what the fuck their roster is before CL starts, I guess. I don't know, man.
Yeah, they dropped tracking last month on the 11th.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have no fucking idea.
Yep, no clue. Number 4, do you think Rogue could end up last at the end of the season with other teams making roster moves? Last, I want to see how teams like LG, the Sonics, maybe a little bit of TSM, because clearly they struggle online in BO1s. You know, I want to see how that kind of goes. Obviously, Dark Zero is a good team online in BO1s, and bringing over Jarvis and Pojo from that former team will hopefully help with that, because they clearly excel online in BO3s. I just don't see a world in which Rogue ends up in dead last, and there's no auto relegation anymore, so the difference between 7th and 8th, I mean, you gotta play a BO3 relegation game regardless. It just depends who you're gonna match up against, either the number 1 or number 2 from CL. I don't know. Do you see Rogue finishing last this season?
Fuck no.
Yeah,
No.
they may be kind of middle of the pack by the end of it, but I really don't see them fucking ending last just because they didn't make a move. Like I said, like sometimes the best answer is just staying still, not making a move.
Correct.
Like, I don't know.
Again, this is why, like every single time that Flynn and I talk about roster moves when they do happen, because now the podcast has almost been going on for a fucking year.
Almost.
Holy shit! When was our first episode?
It was right before USN, so it would have been the first or second week of December.
No. I think we started like mid-November.
We may have like.
Scroll back on your YouTube and find it.
Okay.
Anyways, what I was gonna say is that a lot of the times with the roster moves, guys, this like Rainbow Six isn't like the NFL, isn't like anything, that's a traditional sport or even some other esports. It's still really closed off to the public in regard to roster moves and stuff like that. So that's why like things are treated as leaks, like when Gotcha talks about that the org wanted him gone instead of him personally leaving to go to TSM, stuff like that. When everyone's like, "Oh my fucking god, I can't believe he said that." That's a traditional thing that happens in just sports in general, guys. Like that's a traditional thing. So like again, like it doesn't really rock Flynn or I, because we're like, okay, yeah, that's just like something that happened. Like Khalil Mack didn't want to be on the fucking Raiders, and now he's on the Bears. Like that's just how it is. It wasn't a fucking org choice. Khalil was like, I just want to fucking leave. And this time it was an org choice, and was like, hey, we don't want you here. We don't think that this is really working out. Go to other pastures, and that's what happened. So what I'm trying to say is things are going to seem weird, but you never know what's going on in the background.
First episode was December 4th, 2018.
All right, so we got a couple months here.
Yeah, 3 months almost to the day. It's September 2nd.
Shit. B-Leaguers podcast could have a baby, dude. That's crazy.
Could be a baby already.
Yeah.
Nailed it. All right. And number 6, what went wrong with leftovers? That's an excellent fucking question. I don't know. I know they slapped us in the first wall.
You know what happens when a star dies?
Well, I mean, everyone's
implosion.
Everyone's kind of on their own teams except for like Adam and Trip right now. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with them as well, but it looks like they just couldn't find enough chemistry, couldn't put all the pieces together to make a deep run into the quals. So I don't know. It happens. Also, this qual format was ass anyway, so yeah, I'm talking about that.
Sorry, I had a quick phone call.
No worries. Number 2, a lot of vets get picked, and this is from Mono Zamarin. A lot of vets got picked up in the shuffle. Do you think that's a good thing? Well, there is still a lot of young talent that has showed up, Fultz, Merc, Bolo. And we have already seen what the ceiling is of these vets. That's a very poorly worded question. So basically the question is, there's a lot of vets being shuffled around versus a lot of new people being brought up from CL. What's the deal? I think the thing with that is, like, you also see this in EU as well. There's a very different caliber of play between Pro League and Challenger League. I don't think there's any CL team out there that kind of has this fucking blind assumption that they could hang in Pro League off rip, unless you're some crazy fucking team like Secret or Empire when they were in Challenger League twice, or Empire when they were Challenger League Secret twice. Like, unless you're that kind of level, and I mean they were in Pro League before, both of them, before they were in Challenger League for their first time as a full unit. So I mean, unless you're that kind of level, there's not really this air of you can hang. It takes a minute to adjust, and we've seen that with basically every young pickup that's been brought up this season, last season, the season before. I mean, I don't think the transition was as long for some players as it was for others, but
Mhm.
I mean, Ghost is a perfect example of a guy who looks like he's a tweener.
Huh.
He looks like he's a guy who can fucking rack up frag on a support role in CL and really just can't hang with it in Pro League. I mean, Rampy's rise to success was meteoric, and that was kind of an outlier, but I mean, Fultz took a little bit of a minute to adjust inside of Pro League. Bolo as well on TSM this season. I mean, there's been plenty of examples of players coming up and just it takes a minute. Once you settle in, and even if you do settle in, sometimes that's not a guarantee. Once you settle in, you're kind of fine, but there's a transition period between CL and PL, and I don't know. I think there's still a lot more to be had and a lot more to be said for experience versus raw talent. You know, you got a guy who comes in who maybe has only played one season of Pro League before. That's fucking 14 more games than the next guy who maybe hasn't ever played a season of Pro League before, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be half a season. That's 7 more games in Pro League. He knows the drill. He knows what it's going to be like. He knows the pressure. He knows, you know, how much you're going to get in your own head on game day or how to stay out of your own head on game day that a younger player just won't know. So when you're talking mid-season, I mean, this is kind of the same way in, you know, traditional sports as well. You see a trade deadline come up and a lot of veterans get moved because they've either had deep playoff runs before or they are on a team that isn't doing so well and they want to go to a team that can win a championship. I think that same kind of mentality applies to Siege as well. You're not going to be bringing up guys from the minors unless you absolutely have to because they aren't proven. And at the midway point in the season, all you're focused on is that push to the end. You want to be a top 2 team to make it to Japan, to lock in your spot to SI, and, you know, unless it's a surefire prospect, you're not going to risk it on a guy who may not be mentally sound to be able to compete in Pro League at that kind of level and jeopardize your whole season and jeopardize your possibility of making the biggest event in the entire world for Siege.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a lot of vets get moved around in these, like, post-summer major moves. Same thing happened last year after the major in Paris. So that's why you'll see a lot of new people being brought up after, like, SI or before SI. Heading into, you know, the beginning of a season is fine. You have some time to work with. You can dig yourself out of a hole earlier on in the season. But as soon as you hit that midway point, everyone's gunning for that playoff spot. Everyone's gunning for the land spot because they mean so much right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be a pretty foolhardy thing unless they were absolutely a surefire prospect that has been tested, and you can do a lot of dry runs, you can do a lot of scrims with a player. Until game day comes around, you really don't know. You really don't know what they're gonna be like, and you don't really want to risk your whole season on that. That would be my take on why vets get moved a lot more in these shuffles than rookies.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Again, it's just once you've been doing something for so long, especially with a lot of the veterans that get moved on a regular basis. I mean, they've been here since the very fucking beginning. So there's there's a couple things in life instead of esports and sports that you can't just, you know, have. One of them is veteranism, and well, one in traditional sports is speed. Like you're born with speed. You can't just fucking work out and all of a sudden you're faster. That's not how things work. Like you're either faster or you're not. This is how it is. And veteranism only comes with time. So those are really the big 2 things where you're like, okay, well, I either just have to be born with it or I just have to be here long enough to understand how things work. And it's much easier to pick up somebody that's, you know, applicable to the roster, but also has that veteranism than it is to go, okay, we just picked up a new guy that's a gunner. That's why you saw like Fultz and Rampy go to rosters that already had veteran players on them that have been around for a while because there's an adjustment period to where you have to get used to playing at that tier of competitiveness. So without a veteran player on a roster, it makes things a little bit more difficult. We've seen that with like the likes of Luminosity. They lit the world on fire, but as soon as everybody started reading into what they were doing and recognized out, hey, we ban against Rexon and we win, then see what happened to them.
Basically. Okay, trying to find another question.
I didn't want to
Love.
I didn't want to fill for too long because people are starting to
Yeah.
recognize that when we just banter to find other things.
Yeah, basically. Okay, I've already answered a lot of these. Okay, I'm gonna move on to this one. Flacco, are you guys sad that Stoax' disciples didn't make it to CL? Me personally, no, because that means I wouldn't be there. So I don't know how sad Stokes is.
Huh? Oh, dude, I'm not sad at all. No, like I quote unquote coached him. I didn't do shit. I'm not gonna lie to you because like I asked. It was no one's fault, but if you guys didn't know, there's no fucking book for how to coach a fucking Rainbow Six team. So it's a lot of discussion with your players saying, "Hey, how do you want things handled? How do you want things formatted? Blah 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 blah." And there's just real no communication string between any of us on how to get things figured out or how they wanted things done. So I just more or less allocated for the latter and said, "Hey, like this is what you want to ban against these guys. These are how these guys play." And doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But I will say this: if anybody is a CL player that listens to this, there is one person that was on that team that is truly insane. I've fucking played with him before. Amazing comms, one of the best fucking support players NA has to offer. That's LFT, Timsy. If you guys need a support player and you are a good fucking roster, not, oh, hey, we're underage, blah, blah, blah. No, if you are a CL level roster or a team that is going to be gunning for CL or something higher tier, get Timsy on your team. He will not disappoint you. The kid he's got what it takes. His comms are awesome, and he can frag out his thermite. If you want somebody that is capable of doing that, pick up Timsy. He literally rocks Kaid, thermite, whatever you need the kid to play on support, and gets his frags. That's all you could ever want from a support player. So, and I think fucking Flynn would back me up on that. So, I mean,
I don't think I've ever played with or against him, so I have no idea.
no, I'm saying like that's what you want out of a support.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That's me, smile. Flynn, what's it like to have people begging to join your team the moment you qualified? Hilarious. NA is a fucking gong show. Do you think CL is as competitive this season as it was last season? God, no. Do you think DreamHack Montreal is happening too soon after the major? It's literally happening the exact same time of the calendar as it did last year. The exact same amount of break time between Paris and Montreal 18 versus Raleigh and Montreal 19. And the literal dates have not changed. The exact same time. Good luck in CL. I'm a little sad that Stokes won't be casting DreamHack. It's okay. I have other friends. Get fucked, idiot.
I knew you were going to say that, you piece of shit.
Night Swipe. Congratulations, Flynn. What are you guys watching on Netflix / Amazon Prime recently? I read American Gods in high school, in English class one year, and I thought the book was really good. And I've been watching the TV show. I just binged like both seasons of the TV show. It's really good. Deviates from the plot line of the book pretty fucking quick. So if you've read the book, go in with an open mind. I was expecting it to be basically exactly like the book, and I was very, very mistaken very early on. And it just kind of kept changing from there. Still a damn good show, though. And that's on Amazon Prime. It's a Prime exclusive.
You're a Prime exclusive.
Shut the I will kill you.
You love me.
I hope you die.
I'm one of your only friends, Flynn.
I actually hope you die.
Oh shit! But anyways, on the other thing, guys, don't worry about me not fucking casting DreamHack Montreal. I went on a very, very, very long fucking run of casting international events. I don't know if you guys know this because a lot of you guys are starting to be newer to the podcast and shit like that. But I've casted every single international event since SI in February. Every single international event that there was international people there, I casted it.
I mean, same except for Vegas.
Yeah, that's
So,
yeah, exactly. So like it's not like it's like, oh, fucking Stokes is gone for no, like everything's fine. It's like it was going to happen eventually, and I'm happy that it's fucking Redeemer and Corn Pop that are seeing some action. You know, that's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm. Answered basically that entire 5-part question already. Cool.
Mm-mm-mm. By the way, I think I'm gonna go buy a 2017 STI.
Is that a car?
Yeah,
Okay, I don't know jack shit about cars.
I think I'm gonna go buy one.
Okay, you do that.
I don't know.
I don't
know
have
if
a
I
car
want
here. It's actually irritating, but it's like so the calendar year of 2019, I will spend 9 months away from home and 3 months at home. So why the fuck do I need a car?
That's pretty fucking true, dude. It's pretty fucking true.
Yeah, it's yeah. Okay, last one. Okay, last two. Moist Pistol, what do you think? What do you guys think of butt cheek bandits making CL? You guys think they got a lucky bracket? People on Reddit seem to be using this as an excuse, or they're actually really good. They put multiple teams in the dirt after being a team for only a few days and not even practicing. I will say Zaku and Cryo certainly had their moments and dragged a pretty solid roster across the finish line there. Congrats to Zaku and the whole team for making it. I was making fun of Sour the entire time. Basically, like, so when we had Rainbow on the team, obviously he's still very good friends with a lot of the old Tunes guys, and Rainbow and Talon were on Tunes together, so we joked a lot with a lot of the other guys, like Glitch on Arbad and Sour, who was LFT at the time and subbing in for the Embers at one point. We put Sour and the Embers in the fucking dirt, and that felt good. Yeah, I don't know. It was congrats on them making it. There'll be interesting competition to play against. We played them earlier on in the winners bracket, and we beat them 7-4, 7-5, 7-4, 7-5. I don't remember. Something like that. We beat them along the way. So, you know, obviously we've beaten them on game day once. They're going to have a lot more time to build up some strategies and stuff and maybe play a little bit tighter. Not as loose as they were in the quals, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
On a side note, tell me why I just matched with someone from fucking San Diego, California at the bottom of Texas. Hello?
I don't know. I don't know why you've done this, Sam.
How did that even happen?
I don't know. And the last question, we're going to keep this episode kind of short for today, even though, yeah, we're not even at an hour and a half yet. So, shorter episode today because we had a 3-hour one last week. Thoughts on Jordan or Bacon's statement about Troy and all the Reddit detectives going off on it? Obviously, I'm sure you both have insider knowledge on the whole situation, but is there anything you'd add or want to be made clear or feel like has been misrepresented in the whole conversation? Also, congrats on CL, question mark, question mark. I'm proud of you for making it to such a prestigious level of play /S. Thank you.
Casters can't play, by the way.
Casters can't play.
Casters can't fucking play.
Casters cannot play. So the thing with Jordan going off on Reddit, I have obviously heard this story from both sides. Very good friends with Troy, very good friends with Jordan. I've heard it from both sides. And obviously, when you have two sides kind of going off like this, you try to approach a reasonable middle ground that you believe would be the truth. That's just a sensible reaction to all of it. I will say there were a lot of things said on both sides. Obviously, Jordan decided to make a lot of what he thought extremely public versus Troy, who has kept that very under wraps, so I'm not going to release anything Troy said to me in confidence about Jordan, but let's focus on what Jordan said very publicly about Troy.
Very
publicly, which was that Troy is literal poison. Yeah. Let me hit that with a, no. No, Troy is not poison. Troy may be difficult at times, and I've never been his teammate, but from what I've heard, and from what he has openly admitted to me, and even openly admitted in his twit longer the other day about his departure from EG, sometimes not the best teammate. You know? Everyone struggles with that. Not everyone is the best version of themselves 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every now and again, you're going to slip up. Every now and again, you're going to have your moments where you say, fuck, kind of wish I had that one back. But you can't. So you got to move on. I think between Troy and Jordan, there was a lot of animosity because both both people had different ideals and different processes that they wanted to take the team in. They wanted to take the team in two different directions. And Jordan then decided to tack on and say, look at what BC did. He came with me. Look at what happened as soon as BC and I left. And I mean, Jesus fuck, man. It's not like you guys have done much better. I'll just come out and say it. Jordan, your team fucking chokes on LAN. Repeatedly. They haven't had a good LAN appearance yet. Vegas, Milan, Raleigh, you have sucked a supreme amount of ass at all three. So don't throw stones in glass houses. On Troy's side of things, yeah, I can definitely see, knowing him kind of personally, that, yeah, maybe he would get a little animated at times and probably get in your face about some shit. I've definitely had some private conversations with Troy where it seems like he's very unhappy with, again, maybe the direction that the team was going. And maybe what some people on the team were doing or were not doing. But I mean, for Jordan to come at his throat like that when you really... I mean, Jordan, I love you, first of all. I will preface all of this by saying this. Your biggest claim to fame is, in quotes, coaching the best team in the world in year 2. And they just kind of walked through everyone and won title after title. And they got rid of you for a reason. I think you have a great supporting staff and a great coaching staff at Dark Zero right now. And I think the team with more LAN experiences right now for Dark Zero will get better at LAN over time. Personally, just based on results, I don't think you have the right to call out EG and say, look what happened when we left. The same shit was happening while you were there. The same shit continued when you were long gone. And you have not made any critical changes to that eventuality on your own team now. I think it was a very low comment to make about someone in general. I mean, why the fuck are you taking that public in the first place, man? Like, I get it. You guys probably ran into each other a lot. Probably a lot of stuff under the surface here between you two. But you've had an axe to grind for over a year now about proving that Troy was the problem, about proving that Troy was the issue on EG. Seems like there's fault on both sides. It's where I stand with this argument, where this beef drama, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's where I stand on it.
I would say that I would have to agree with you. I'm not as good of friends with Canadian as you are. I've literally had 2 conversations with the guy my entire, if you can even call it a Siege career. But I am decent friends with Jordan. So I've talked to Jordan on quite a few occasions. Nice dude. All the praises, blah, 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 I can possibly give. But I would definitely have to say that from my point of view, and from what we had to deal with being in the public eye constantly and everything in front of hundreds of thousands of fans and everything else, not the best look for DZ as an organization, for Jordan, you as a person. I don't think it helps you in any sense of the term. I would say, if anything, it's exactly what Flynn said. All you're doing is throwing stones at glass houses, and it's really not helping your cause, because your main focus point should be, okay, yeah, Troy moved to SSG, fantastic. Then all of a sudden you have to come out with a shot out of a cannon on an organization you haven't been with in God knows how long at this point. What is it, over a fucking year now?
Just a year to the day.
Yeah. So, I mean, you lied in wait for almost an entire year to just drop this bomb of, oh, fucking Troy was a problem. Troy did this, Troy did that. At this point in time, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter to anyone, because the roster isn't together anymore. It's not like, oh, you just got dropped and Troy got dropped and it's this massive scandal that's going. No, that's not what's happening. You just came out of the blue and just swung at someone that wasn't swinging at you. Yeah, okay, sure. Did Troy say things a year ago? Fantastic. All right, awesome. That's a year ago. Let's put some fucking big boy pants on. Let's get through this. Let's focus on you, and let's focus on getting DZ to a point where you guys don't just fucking find the fattest cock and choke on it at land, because that's literally what's been happening, and it's a disappointment to see because you have a great backer behind you guys team wise. You have some of the best fucking players in all of NA, and you still can't find results. So how's that coaching going? I'm not a coach. I don't know what goes on behind the doors of Dark Zero. I don't know what goes on in Houston. Don't know what, everything. I know the org's great. I know Zach's a great guy. I know you guys are trying to find your way through. I know that DZ as an organization is fantastic. I really enjoy what they bring to the table with everything, with how they're supporting you guys, with how they're handling things. Flynn and I have praised them for being very open about their contracts and everything else. But obviously there has been some bumps in the road that, you guys are getting figured out. But I mean, one major thing is that you guys cannot find success literally anywhere, and that has to change. So focus on you first. Everything else is just background noise. It's bullshit. It doesn't fucking matter. Troy doesn't fucking matter to you at all. All he is another guy on the opposite end of the screen that eventually you're gonna have to beat on game day. That's all that matters. So if you want to bring that amount of passion to something, bring it to your fucking work, dude. Because in complete honesty, I'm fucking sick of this whole shit of like, here, we're just going to fucking all of a sudden come out talking shit about this person. This person did this. I'm going to make a fake Reddit account to go talk shit about this person. Shut the fuck up. Like, Jordan, I love you, man. I really, really do. But like, just trust me in this. You coming out and saying that does not help clear your conscience, do anything at all, because all it is going to shine a bad light on you. And that light is also going to extend over Dark Zero as a whole. Your players, the organization, everyone. You're attached to it. That's how it goes.
Yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to say on that topic, because it rubbed me the wrong way, just seeing that shit. I don't know.
I completely
on
agree
both
with you.
sides. I said some shit Jordan tacked on, but it was a fucking year ago, man. And like I said, you kind of don't have the results to talk a lot of smack right now. So, hey, if you want to pull a Ranger and then get some results like fucking 10 hours after a win and go talk some smack on Twitter, I mean,
do it.
That's your goddamn prerogative.
Yeah.
But for right now, it kind of looks like you're just yelling for the sake of fucking yelling. And I don't know, man. It's been over 8 years. Just seems like a long time to hold a grudge.
I think, if anything, this is a perfect opportunity for us to talk about what we usually talk about on here with like the likes of TSM now and all that kind of stuff, being a little bit more, I guess we can put it as edgy during their games, right? So, which is perfectly fine. I mean, that's part of the game, getting inside of someone's headspace, fucking them up.
There's a difference between during
and
the
waiting
game
an entire
and
fucking
after
year.
The game.
And by after the game, we mean literally 365 days.
Yeah. They dropped him a little after Paris, right before DreamHack Montreal last year. It is almost, I think it might actually be like a year to the day.
I'll Wikipedia it. Hold on.
Go for it. Also, some breaking news that I heard in Raleigh that has finally come out. It took a fucking minute for this one to come out, but Ranger has been dropped by Rogue. So Reaper will be now taking over full head coaching responsibilities. Their analyst that they picked up a little while ago. He'll be handling day-to-day coaching duties and taking over as head coach, and Tristan is now LFT. Friend of the show, Tristan, Ranger.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. I don't know. It's
a good one. I like it.
It's a change for Rogue. Everyone was saying, "Oh, there's no changes for Rogue." I was just holding this in my back pocket the whole fucking time. Although I got asked to explicitly not tell a single fucking person, so I didn't. I didn't tell a single goddamn motherfucking person. I didn't hint at it. I didn't say a goddamn thing.
Didn't even tell me.
Nope, I didn't even tell you, little fuck ass. I didn't tell a singular fucking person.
I mean, I'm pretty good at this whole mental math thing, so I kind of figured. Kind of figured it was going that way. Anyways, so Bacon left for SK. What is this? Yeah, literally 3 days ago to a year. So a year and 3 days.
And he probably made those comments 3 days ago.
So literally a fucking year.
Almost a year to the day. That's what we're saying, man. It's a long time to hold a grudge just to unleash fucking a couple paragraphs on Reddit about it. Like,
Yep.
and he made a big deal out of it too. There was so much buildup. There was so much fucking.
He literally
teasing.
called the man a disease.
Yeah, and I mean, even before this, like, there were tweets like 6, 8, even 12 months ago about like, oh, I'm gonna drop the whole story about EG. I'm gonna drop the whole story about Troy, and then there was all this like fucking subtweeting shit. Like, dude, just fucking. Move on.
Yeah, like here's the thing, and I'm not gonna mention any names, but Flynn knows there is someone inside of the Rainbow Six Siege scene that I fucking despise because of things that happened in the past. But I've never said a fucking word. I've never tweeted about anything. Never said anything. All I said was to my close friends that are also, inside of the casting realm, hey, this is what happened. This is why I don't like said person. Everyone was like, okay, I can completely understand why you don't like said person. Just you don't need to go out. I don't need to go to Reddit and be like, hey, so and so did this and fuck that guy and he's a disease, he's a plague on the fucking R6 scene and blah blah blah. Like, you don't need to fucking do that, dude.
I mean, the person you're talking about, I'd enjoy if you did come out with that. I wouldn't hate if you did drag that man. But I mean,
maybe one day.
Yeah,
be in the same boat.
Yeah, you'll save it up for a year, and then we're just a bunch of hypocrites.
Jordan will message me and be like, "You fucking drug him after a year and a half."
I mean,
I love you, Jordan.
since the thing, it has been some time since the thing that happened.
Oh.
So I mean, your court date's coming up real soon, brother.
So, dude, right? Oh.
I don't know.
I'll do it right before said event, dude. Like,
yeah, maybe we're a bunch of hypocrites, but at the end of the day, it just seemed like something that was completely fucking unnecessary.
I don't know. Complete honesty, if he would have just pointed out the issues and not went with like he's a fucking plague on society.
Yeah,
sort of thing,
I feel like it was 3 steps too far.
It
feels like it was just over
like
the
Joe,
line.
we're not knocking you for knocking him. We're knocking you for how you went about it.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Fuck,
like
man.
We both love you. Like, I would fucking kiss your forehead, Jordan. You know that. Like, I fucking love you, dude. But, that's the thing about being friends, bro.
Seems like that was really fucking over the line. That's all.
Yeah, you gotta respect it. All right, you gotta put some respect on the name. I know it sucks, but hey, I mean, Troy's the most fucking known NA pro.
Anyway, guys, I think that's gonna do it. That's the end of our Q&A session. I skipped a lot of questions because they were either really repetitive or about topics that we're not gonna get into that have to deal with a certain person. So, I'd like to thank everybody for listening, though. Remember to go check out the Koyo store. Head to the B-Leaguers.
Koyo!
Affiliate link, koyostore.com/thebleaguers. Use all caps B-Leaguers for 5% off your order. Get some pins, get some coins, get some merch, get anything you goddamn desire on the website. And we'll probably be back after DreamHack to break down DreamHack and do some more Q&A and stuff. It might be later on in the week, though, just because I'm going to need some time to settle into the Airbnb in Montreal and get everything set up. But also, I'm bringing my own mic and shit, so the mic quality will be literally the exact same that it is right now, and it won't be ass like it was while we were there when we did the episode with Parker. So thank you very much.
What is Scump's favorite part of the body? Ass. You don't know that joke. All right, anyways.
Did you just have a stroke? Like, what the... I'm trying to outro. I fucking hate you so much. Thank you so much.
You love me so much.
Right, I'm just gonna go kill Sam now. I'm just gonna go kill Sam now.
Just end it. End me.